Chapter Review. People buy insurance to reduce risk. Insurance works by pooling a large number of risks so that the total number of adverse outcomes is relatively certain. The company uses the payments from all policyholders to compensate the few that suffer losses. But there is asymmetric information in the insurance market because policyholders have private information. The asymmetric information creates two problems: moral hazard, an incentive after making an agreement to behave in a way that imposes cost on the other party to the agreement, for example, an insured driver driving more aggressively, and adverse selection, for example, risky drivers are more inclined to buy insurance. Insurance companies use screens, which occurs when an uninformed person creates an incentive for an informed person to reveal relevant private information. Offering no claim bonuses and policies with high deductibles screen drivers and create a separating equilibrium because safe drivers prefer these policies. Practice problem. Pam is a low risk careful driver and Fran is a high risk aggressive driver. What might an auto insurance company do to get Pam and Fran to reveal their driver type? The insurance company will offer policies with deductibles that enable drivers to reveal their private information. Pam reveals that she is a low risk driver by taking a high deductible and low premium. Fran reveals that she is a high risk driver by taking a low deductible and high premium. Using figure shown the deadweight losses that arise in equilibrium without screening that are avoided in a separating equilibrium with screening. For a low-risk careful drivers, by taking a high deductible and low premium, 80 million get insurance for $800 a year compared to 60 million paying $1,000 a year without screening. The gray triangle in figure 1 shows a deadweight loss avoided with screening from under provision without screening. For high-risk aggressive drivers, by taking a low deductible and high premium, 40 million get insurance for $1,200 a year compared to 60 million paying $1,000 a year without screening. The gray triangle in figure 2 shows a deadweight loss avoided with screening from over provision without screening. Toyota has developed a pre-collision system that helps lower speeds before rear-end impacts and reduce injuries and vehicle damage. How could auto insurance companies use information in the news clip? Is that information private or asymmetric? The insurance companies know whether a car is a Toyota with a pre-collision system and can use this information to separate the market by known risk differences. But this information is not private and not asymmetric. How might Toyota's pre-collision system influence adverse selection and moral hazard? Adverse selection. Drivers who know their driving style brings a high collision risk are more likely to buy the Toyota with pre-collision system. Moral hazard. Having bought the Toyota with a pre-collision system, driving careless less dangerous, so some drivers become more careless. Which are examples of adverse selection and which are examples of moral hazard? The first one, a skier takes additional risks once she has health insurance. It is a moral hazard because the skier is changing behavior after the health insurance was purchased. A basketball player takes more days off for minor injuries after signing a long-term contract is a moral hazard because the ball player behavior is changing after the contract was signed. Third, a person who is a poor credit risk is more likely to use payday advance loans is an example of adverse selection because the payday loan company is attracting poor credit risks. Fourth, a student who is likely to work little in a class signs up for a section that has extensive group work rather than a section that is graded solely on the basis of exams is an example of adverse selection because the class section based on group work is attracting lazy students. Fifth, a lazy used car salesperson applies for a job with a car dealership where the pay is a fixed amount rather than based on sales is an example of adverse selection because the car dealer is attracting lazy salesperson. The last, a realtor shows a house for sale only once a month rather than once a week, as was verbally promised because a sales contract was signed, is an example of moral hazard because the realtor's behavior is changing after the contract was signed. These are true and false, which you can look by yourself. And multiple choice questions.